weekly in-depth view of agriculture up close. This is In the Field. Presented by Gordon's Feed and Pet.
So here at Worthington Angus, some of the things that we do is raise registered Angus cattle, obviously, provide those in a seed stock setting to go out to commercial herds predominantly, and some registered breeders. We're 100% AI and ET program. We don't turn out any cleanup bulls, and we work very diligently with our customers every day. We're fortunate to have full-time help here to help run the day-to-day operations, and I consider my role as a full-time representative for our customers. We go out and help them market the calves out of our genetics that they've invested in here. So when we think about the beginning and getting everything in place to be successful in a breeding program, before we even start breeding season, we think about nutrition and making sure that all the nutritional needs of the animal are met so that they can maintain themselves, maintain the calf they're raising. If you've done those two things well, then the cow will consider raising another calf and you can get her bred. So we want to think about herd health. We want to think about nutrition, proper vaccination program, at least 30 to 45 days out prior to the breeding season. And when you're starting to synchronize those cattle, that's important to make sure that you've set the stage for success when you actually get down to time for breeding, and artificial insemination is how we do that here.
You mentioned the word synchronization. You're going to share with our listeners the ins and outs of it, so let's head on inside and see it in action.
As we talked about, artificial insemination, another way to get the cattle bred. We can select exactly the bull that we want to put on the cow and make very precise individual matings. And that's very important in terms of moving the industry forward and being able to have access to the very best bulls out there. A lot of us can't afford to maybe own a bull that potentially costs $100,000, but we can purchase semen for $20 to $40 a straw and then mate those cows individually to that. So what we do is we go through each cow every breeding season, find maybe the strengths and weaknesses of those cows, and then we use the bulls that we've identified as progeny proven high accuracy sires that we use in our program here. We'll take potentially 6 to 10 of those bulls each breeding season, and then we find the strengths and the weaknesses that they have, mate them individually to the cows. We'll make a sheet very specifically with the cow ID number, what the service sire will be, and then we have a place to record the dates that we've actually went in and artificially inseminated the cow. So today, the cow that we've got in the chute, we're actually going to be breeding to a bull that we actually raised and was purchased by Select Sires. His name's All Profit.
Okay, let's go see it.
So we've got our cedar gun here. We've got the animal restrained in our squeeze chute. If you've got help, it's always handy. You can kind of get the tail positioned out of the way. You always want to take some paper towels, clean the animal up good so that whenever you insert the cedar, that you keep everything as clean as possible. We'll open up the vulva, insert the cedar into the cow. Then we'll just use the cedar gun to release. That cedar that we had that when the wings folded up inside the gun, once we release it and push it out, they open back up and then they stay. It leaves you with this little cord stuck out. So now at the end of the 7-day protocol, we'll bring the animal back into the chute and we can just simply grab the cord, pull that cedar out. So we just have a semen tank here. This semen tank's full of liquid nitrogen, keeps the semen at a very cool temperature. You can store that semen for decades, frankly. We've got individual canisters within those. We've got it ID'd on our sheet where that is. Today that's in canister number 1. So we'll just search down through here, find our All Profit semen. Pull that up. You want to keep that below the frost line. We've got a thaw bath here that's staying at approximately 96 degrees. And that'll thaw that semen out for about 45 seconds. We always set a timer just to make sure that it's right on target. And we'll get that semen thawed and get it prepped to go breed the cow. I've had it there for about 45 seconds now. So you want to protect the straw of semen. You want to try and keep it warm as possible. Keep it out of sunlight. In this room, obviously, we don't have a problem with that. But we'll prepare it by getting it dry, keeping it protected in the paper towel. Then we'll cut one end off. Then we can use our AI gun. It's basically a 2-piece system with a plunger down the center. We'll move the plunger back, keep the straw covered up in our paper towel, especially if you're outside, to protect it from sunlight and try and keep it warm. Then we'll put that straw of semen in a sheath. Again, trying to keep it covered in your hand as best as possible. Once that's in, I always just drop it down in my shirt just to kind of keep it warm and again, out of any of the elements. So now that we've got our semen straw prepped in the AI gun ready to go, we've come back out to the chute. We'll get ready to go ahead and inseminate the cow. So we're going to go in and palpate the cow rectally. Move that tail out of the way. Once you've got your hand in, I always like to take some paper towels. Again, similar process to when we put the cedar in. We'll just clean the cow. A lot of times I like to leave that paper towel kind of sitting there, helps keep the cow's vulva open for me. Then I can just take my gun and cleanly insert it into the cow. And what I'm doing with my hand that's palpating the cow and inside the cow is finding her cervix. Within that cervix, there's going to be 3 rings. I'm going to pass that gun through those 3 rings. Once I've reached the end, I'll be able to feel the tip of that gun slide out through the end of that cervix. That's exactly where I want to dispense my semen.
So no doubt a lot goes into your reproduction program, but let's talk about why you do all that. What's the end goal?
So for us, the importance is being able to deliver the product to our customers that they need. We use artificial insemination in our reproduction system to deliver specific things, whether a customer needs an animal that they're going to breed to heifers and they don't want to have calving problems, we need to be able to deliver on that calving needs. If they need high growth, we need to be able to deliver that. Artificial insemination allows us to do that very specifically in a very targeted fashion and deliver it with high accuracy. And so ultimately what we get down to is the end product. So here we've got a couple steaks, a prime steak and a low choice steak. Genetics is how we actually get this. This isn't something that we just magically make, a steak that's prime that you want to go to a really nice steakhouse and get, or special time where you're grilling out with the family. It doesn't just magically happen. It starts when you're genetically selecting those in your reproduction system. And sometimes we don't think about that down the road, but this is ultimately the end product that everybody's after. This is what we work really hard at Worthington Angus, is to deliver a product to our customers so they can go out and produce this kind of steak, because ultimately that's where there's more money.